Hello everyone, I am Prashant Negi and today I would be emphasizing on articles of the Constitution that deals with our armed forces, paramilitary and other authorities similar to them. These are Article 33 and Article 34 of the Indian Constitution. So as we know, these articles are uncommon to the knowledge of the people and sometimes even a law student tend to skip these articles while going through Indian Constitution. So now let's continue and see what importance these articles hold in our Indian Constitution. So now let's start with Article 33 of the Indian Constitution. Article 33 and Article 34 comes under Part 3 of the Indian Constitution, and heading of the Article 33 states that power of Parliament to modify rights, meaning thereby only Parliament have power to modify the rights under this article, not any state legislature or any other legislation. And this article covers the member of certain classes like armed forces, paramilitary, intelligence bureaus and other person employed. Under armed forces, it includes Army, Navy and Air Force of the country. And Article 33 further includes forces which are charged with maintenance of the public order, meaning thereby paramilitary forces, which are CAPF, Central Armed Police Forces. It includes forces like CISF, SSB and SSB, Assam Rifle and many other forces. This article also includes intelligence bureaus like NIA and many other forces, intelligence forces. And this article also covers other person employed, which means that any person employed in any of these organizations, even a cobbler, even any other person, this is also covered under this article. And any provision enacted by Parliament under this article cannot be challenged in any of the court, meaning thereby that if any provision is contravening to the fundamental rights, they cannot be challenged and does not come under the judicial purview of the Supreme Court. And accordingly, Parliament has enacted Army, Navy and Air Force Act, and for CAPF, Police Forces Act and Border Security Forces Act. Now the question arises, does member of these organization not eligible for Article 21 right to life or Article 14 right to equality? Now let's see what Supreme Court has to say about that. Like in recent case of Mohammad Zubair versus Union of India, the petitioner, a Muslim soldier, wished to keep his beard, but his Air Force commanding officer rejected this request on the ground that it was against the policies of the Air Force. Therefore, his right to religion was challenged. But Supreme Court held a contrary view. It held that it was against the Article 33 and gave reasoning that this provision is saved by Article 33. And there are many such cases in which Supreme Court held that member of these forces cannot be given fundamental rights. However, this does not give free license to the legislature to completely deny all the fundamental rights to the member of these forces, as Article 33 itself says that the restriction and abrogation must be in order to discharge the duties properly and to maintain discipline. Corroborating this statement, Supreme Court in the landmark case of Secretary, Ministry of Defence versus Babita Punia in Feb 2020 held that even women are eligible for permanent commission in the army, and also in the Union of India versus Annie Nagaraja, permanent commission was given to the women in Air Force. All this landmark judgment shows the judicial activism of the court, and Supreme Court now prevails that. And Article 33 also comes under the purview of judicial review, and exception cases can be challenged on the ground of contravening to fundamental rights. That's all about Article 33. Now let's continue and see what Article 34 states. The simple reading of Article 34 states that Parliament may by law indemnify any person in the service of the union or of a state or any other person in respect of any act done by him in connection with the maintenance or restoration of order in any area within the territory of India where martial law was in force or validate any sentence, passed, punishment inflicted, forfeiture, order or any other act done under martial law in such area. Through this we can interpret that it is implicit in Article 34 under which a martial law can be declared in any area within the territory of India for which any person can be punished for the violation of law. Here we can also see that declaration of martial law is little bit of obscure as there is no provision in the constitution or any other enactments that give power to the any executive authorities to declare it, and there are no enactments or provision which define the word martial law. Therefore we interpret this word as a military rule. And it must also be noted that Article 34 of the Constitution was one of those provisions which were not there during the initial draft because it was very arbitrary in nature and very debatable as it also takes the fundamental rights of the person. But later it was added during the 14th and 16th November 1949 as a martial law. And regarding this, the Supreme Court also held that declaration of martial law does not ipso facto result in the suspension of writ of habeas corpus. As we know that martial law or military rule has never been invoked in our country, but AFSPA Act is invoked for the extreme disturbed condition which give power to the Indian Army and Air Force for maintenance of law and order, like in the situation of northeastern states or the region of Jammu and Kashmir. But then the question arises, can we call this AFSPA Act as a military law? The answer for that would be no, because in this enactment the martial law or a military rule is nowhere defined. Then the second question arises, then what is the difference between national emergency and the military rule? For national emergency we have Article 352 and we know that it is invoked by order of President only on 3 conditions, whereas we don't have any specific condition laid down in Constitution regarding the martial law. So this is one of the basic condition or basic difference between martial law or national emergency. These were all the important points regarding Article 33 and Article 34 that one must know, and hope you like this and gain something out of it. Thank you.